Hey, friends. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. How is everyone? Everybody have a good Friday. Hey, Gail. Hey, sweet Gail. Hey, Cherie. Good to see you. Hey, Margaret. You're getting on the road. Chat soon. Good deal. Hey, Morgana Banana. All right. So I'm super excited today. Look at my kids' Bluey stickers. I still have not taken those off the partition thing. Room divider, whatever you call those things. I don't know what they're called. Anyway, they're like those bifold things, you know? So, hey, Miss King. So, unbeknownst to me until, well, it wasn't late last night, but it was last night. Morgana informed me that Lori Vallow would not be having court today. So, I thought about going ahead and doing today early with the last portion of yesterday's trial day. And then I was like, well, I'll save that till Monday. And then I was like, today will be a great day to do the Delphi stuff that I've been wanting to do. So that's what I decided to do. And kiddo was extra needy today. So I was like, let's just do a Friday night stream. Let's do that. So I've been in there cleaning in the kitchen, doing laundry, all kinds of things today. I've been a busy little bee today. Oh, so far so good here. It's just a bit hot. Is it, Cherie? It's a bit chilly here. Sun's shining off and on, but it's been chilly willy. All right, so I know that a lot of you have already seen the newly released thanks Judge Gull. Anyway, interrogations of Richard Allen, okay? And the jail calls. I know that you guys have seen this. A lot of you have. Some of you have not, I'm sure, but that's what we're going to watch today. It's a bit chilly there too, Gail. Cherie says it's 91 here. Yeesh. That's warm. That's too warm for me in the summertime. I don't like it too hot. All right, so I want to let me give my credit here. Video credit. To this is the first place I seen it. It's from a channel. The guy's name is Tom Webster. I believe he attended the Delphi trial. But yeah, he's the first one that I saw that shared it. It's the first place I watched it. And he came out with the original version of it. The first version that he put out was apparently, he said it was edited, but I think what he said he edited was just like some audio, like cleared up some of the audio, like took out some of the muffled sounds, that kind of thing. But he posted this original version. So this is the version that we're going to play. And I want to give full credit to him for sharing this. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. And I think what I read was he paid a $25 money order and Judge Gull released the stuff. I don't know. Have no idea. Hold on just a second. Okay, so Gail, right, I know. If my cleavage is sweating, it's too hot. I get it. I know what you mean. That's the worst. Nothing like a little boob sweat. Ugh, gross. I can't stand it either. Mm. So, husband's texting me back and forth. Hold on, so sorry. Okay. So, I'm going to hit the play button on this, okay? We're going to hit the play button. And then when it gets to a certain spot, I'm going to stop it and play a little comparison for you, okay? So it's going to be about 25 to 30 minutes into this interrogation where I will be stopping and doing a little comparison for you. All right. Here we go. Hold on. Let me hit the play button. Here we go.
Okay, great. So, see you later, Richard.
That's Richard Allen.
I don't know if I gave you one of my cards. There it is. I think you did. I probably set it down. Oh, it's right there. You are. Good. So, the reason we wanted to talk to you is about the Aberworthy case. Okay. And I appreciate your time in doing that. And as a formality, before we talk to anybody about these things, I want to make sure you understand you're not under arrest or anything like that, okay? And the door here is open. You can leave anytime you want. I'd be glad to give you a ride back or whatever. So.
Okay, so keep in mind the girls were murdered in 2017, February of 2017. And round about the time when they were, asking for people who had been in the area to leave tips, that kind of thing, Richard Allen called with the information, said that he had been on the bridge that day, yada, yada, yada. And he met with Dan Doolin, I think, which is a DNR dude. Met with him, gave a statement. And then this interview is 5 years later. 5 years later is when they pull Richard Allen in for an interview. Okay. So just given that little bit of timeline context there.
But we need to make sure that we go cover a formality here, and I'm going to get to the page here where it's at. This is a Miranda warning. So before we ask any questions, you need to understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask any questions and have it with you during questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, we'll be appointed for you before any question if you wish. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you have the right to stop answering any time. You also have the right to stop answering any time you talk to a lawyer. Now, like I said, you're not under arrest, so I just want to make sure you understand those rights. Down here at the bottom it says, I read this statement of our rights and understand our rights. I do not want a lawyer at this time, and I understand what I am doing. No promises or threats have been made to me, and no pressure or coercion of any kind has been used against me. If you'd be willing to talk with us, or just if you understand your rights, we just need your signature there that we charted that.
Okay.
Okay. This is a formality we take care of whenever we talk to anyone.
We're just going back to the beginning of the case, and we know you had talked to Lieutenant Doolin. We just want to figure out what you saw when you were out there before.
Well, that's all. That's all
Okay.
they want to do.
Now, Tony brought up something that you had done when initially you had talked to Lieutenant Doolin. And according to Lieutenant Doolin, the information he got to you was that you were on the trail between 1:30 and 3:30. Does it make any sense? Okay. And that you had parked at the old Farm Bureau building. I think that may have been the old welfare office out there.
Well,
And while at the Freedom Bridge, you saw three females and noted that one was taller and had black or brown long hair. This is basically what he had written down.
okay.
And maybe even got some information about your phone or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
So now, at some point, Richard Allen tells the Doolin guy, when he's given his statement, that he remembered the only people he remembered really seeing there was three different girls. There were three girls that he saw. They were together, and he said it looked like two sisters, or they looked like sisters, but we know from the, all the information that's come out through the years that there were three girls there, not in any relation at all or together with Libby and Abby. They were not together. And it wasn't Abby and Libby that he was talking about seeing. So they know who those three girls are. They spoke to them. So
So now you understand everything, so I want to make sure that we just kind of get some information from you. We get started here off the bat with today's date, which is Thursday. And today is 10/13 of 22. What time do you have, Tony?
It's 11:15.
10:45. And your full name is?
Richard
H-A-R-D.
Matthew Allen.
That's A-L-L-E-N.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how old are you now?
50 years old.
Okay. Your date of birth?
9972.
Okay, great. Could I ask you to write down the specific number where the X is at right there?
I'm in the 50-year-old club this year, too.
I'm beyond that, actually. So.
Just turned. No.
Sorry. Hard to believe. And do you know your driver's license number off the top of your head?
No.
Don't worry about it. The home address, I didn't get it when I was out there. What is it?
1967.
67.
White Man Drive.
Okay. And a phone number you can be contacted at?
317-612-4533.
Would you have for water? I got one right here, John.
Oh, okay, sure. I'll be right back.
And do you have any of their cell phone numbers that you can be contacted by?
I got my wife's number.
Okay, what is her phone number?
317-612-4753.
Okay.
hey, sweet Chaloon, I have missed your face off. It's so funny that you came in here because literally last night I was thinking of you and Monica, and I almost sent a group message to you two together because, yeah, I've been thinking about you a lot the last few days. So it's crazy pants that you popped in. Hi, girl. Miss you. I hope you're doing well.
Never dial numbers anymore.
You don't? I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, okay. And how long have you had that phone number that's your 317 number?
I believe I got it when I worked at Indy, so it would have been prior to
see, and can I ask what kind of phone do you have?
It's an Android, a Google.
Okay. Yeah, what's your email address?
RICK 2045 at frontier.com.
Do you have any other email addresses? I have a couple myself, so I asked.
Yeah, I've got, I don't use it very often. It's Foojacka, Foojacka 0 at gmail.com.
Oh, nice,
I
Jaloon.
had one at Yahoo at some point too, but I don't remember what it was.
Woohoo.
Okay, great. What kind of social media do you do applications do you use, like Facebook? Not at all? Do you have a Facebook account?
Oh, my wife does, I don't.
Sounds so familiar. Yeah. Okay. And does she post often? Things like
She's, yeah,
on there all the time?
yeah, she does.
Okay, all right. So what is your marital status?
Married.
Married, okay. And have you been married before?
No.
Okay. Number of children, we were talking about your kids, your daughter. What's her name again?
Rick.
Uh,
Oh, my daughter. Rick Jr. No, BRITTANY.
Okay. And how old is Brittany now? You said you did math earlier.
28,
28. Okay. She's born when? You said
1994.
94. Okay. And what's her last name now?
Zapanta. It's ZAPANTA.
Okay. And
Oh, about 5.5, 6 years later, Jaloon.
And what's her husband's
About
name?
5.5 years
Around here?
later.
He's originally from the Philippines,
Oh, okay.
but lived in Canada, and he's been here, well, shortly before they got married, so around 16, maybe 15, 16,
Okay.
I don't know. They got married in 17.
What's his name?
Paulo, P-A-U-L-O.
Okay. P-A-U-L-L? Oh, I put a middle one.
P-A-U-L-O.
I got it. Okay. All right. So, but he lived here for a while. So I never assumed Zapanta's being around here.
No, not around here.
Around here?
No.
Maybe somebody else?
She was already up in Napanee when she met him.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Graduated from high school. Where at?
North Miami.
What year?
91.
Okay. And any other vocational training, college classes?
Went to Ivy Tech, like a couple semesters.
What'd you study there?
Accounting.
Okay. Any other vocational training or? Okay.
Well, I was in the military, but
Oh, okay. That's a question coming up here. Were you involved in any fraternal organizations, clubs, or athletics, or anything like that in school?
I did some track here and there. I did football for like a year, but nothing serious.
Okay. Any clubs or National Honor Society or something like that?
Oh, no.
Sorry. Military service, so what branch?
National Guard, Army National Guard.
And what was highest rank achieved?
E5 sergeant.
Okay. Mostly around here? Or
No, it was in, I lived in Mexico most of my life.
Mexico, like in
Indiana.
Indiana, like in Miami.
Yeah.
Okay.
You always get that. Yeah, Mexico, Chile, Denver. Yeah.
Okay, all
It's
right.
Mexico.
Yeah, okay.
I had
But it
no
was
idea
Peru
there was
where I in the
Mexico and
National Guard. Yeah,
Indiana.
sorry.
All right. Go to church anywhere?
No.
Have you ever?
On occasion, nothing.
Okay. Where'd you usually go to? Any place around
I
here?
don't even know. No, not around here.
Okay. All right. Parents go to church, or did they take you to church when you were a kid?
No, my grandparents went to church. My parents didn't.
Oh, I see. Okay. Any criminal history? Have you been arrested for anything? Okay. Any medical problems, heart trouble, high blood pressure, psychological disorders?
Oh, yeah. Everything.
Okay.
I've had a heart attack. I've got a couple stents.
Okay.
And,
How long ago was your heart attack?
it's 2010.
Okay. You were 40.
37.
Holy cow. Mm-hmm.
Wow,
And anything else?
that's young.
Depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, cholesterol.
All right. And you're working at CVS. So you said you've been there how many years?
Since, well, not the one here, but with CVS since 2013.
Okay. So you worked at another CVS somewhere? Was it?
Yeah, I worked in, trained in Marion, I worked in Peru, and then I came to Delphi. I'm thinking 16, 17, 16. I've been there a while now.
But you said you were living at your house out there since 2000. So you drive back and forth with those CVS?
Yeah, I was leaving Walmart. Like I said, I spent 10 years with Walmart. I was actually a store manager at one point with Walmart. Chose to leave the company and do something different, and interviewed with CVS, and Peru was the district manager that I interviewed, but Peru was the furthest western store that he had, or closest to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I was going to be working, and it just didn't work out the way that I thought it was long term. I mean, I was there several years, but I wanted to, they had a training position, a managerial training position. I told them I didn't want to do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, and put in the transfer back, and like I said, I'm 16, I'm going to say around 16, 17, somewhere.
All right. Well, managing is kind of hard sometimes, I understand. Was there a particular reason why you didn't stay in management, or?
Tired of it, the bureaucracy, just not really being about taking care of the customer. It's more about hitting this number on this spreadsheet and that number on that spreadsheet, and then you're getting a call every 15 minutes if you didn't hit this number on this spreadsheet, and none of them really help you take better care of the customer. I mean, you spend your time managing scorecards, and I just had enough of it.
Sure.
I was just tired of it.
Sure, okay. Let's see, so from where we're at right now, I think probably, can you help us understand what was going on Monday, February the 13th? You kind of tell us what you were doing that day, and every day the girls
Okay.
are on the trail.
Oh, hey, Melinda. Thank you.
I went over to my mom's in Peru, Mexico, earlier in the day. I think my mom had hip surgery back then or something, but regardless, my wife was working, so I went over there and spent the day, not the day, I spent the morning with them. My sisters come over and they were going to go eat lunch and stuff, and I wasn't about that, so I went home. And I remember it was a fairly warm day, or warmer than normal, so
Thank
I
you,
think I just put it back
Melinda.
on
I
and went
appreciate
back
that.
out to the trails.
You have a good weekend, too.
Usually when we go, we walk down to High Bridge and walk back and walk down the other side and come back. I mean, it wasn't a ritual, but I remember walking down to the bridge. The times, I left my mom's, it was probably around 11:15. So I think I would have been out there, because I didn't do anything else. It would have been around noon, I thought, is when I was out there. Walked down to High Bridge. Always went out just a little ways, not all the way. Went out a little ways and watched the fish. See if I seen any fish down there, because I like fishing. And walked back and sat on the, when you turn around and go down the other fork, there's a bench that overlooks, and sat there for a few minutes and walked back out and left.
Okay. Anything else you remember? Where was you first try?
Said there was, the big parking lot wasn't there at the time, right?
Oh, you mean the which one?
Like where the bridge is at, I don't think it was there. So there's if you went over behind, there's a back road that went up, and there was a bridge, not the main bridge. There was a smaller bridge where you could park there, or you could park over on the other side. And I remember I didn't park over there where it's a farmer's entrance or something. I remember I didn't park there because I had told.
So thank you, Chaloon, for bringing that up. Chaloon says, no way would I remember what I did on the trail that many years later, just saying. Okay, so the reason he does remember is because he gave a statement. He gave a statement early on when it first happened in 2017. He gave a statement to Dan Doolin. They wrote all that out. At that time, they were collecting a lot of people that were in the areas, like cell phone information, all that kind of stuff, And so he remembers, telling the story. I mean, given the statement. And then 5.5 years later is when they come across these lost tips again, and then they reach out to him for this interview. So, and also I would say I completely understand what you're saying, but I also try to consider, if, let's just say, for instance, you had two young teenage girls in a very small town that were local that were brutally murdered in a park near your home, and everybody everywhere was running around looking for the guy that did it. That day and the day after is going to probably stick out in your mind, even if you were not the perpetrator. You know what I'm saying? It would stick out in your mind more than most other days because of what had occurred, right? And especially if you were in the vicinity that day, right? If you were there that day and you're like, oh my God, so that's, if we're looking at the theory that he's innocent, you know what I'm saying? Now trial is already over. He was convicted of this. But there are a lot of people who still believe that he's completely innocent. But I'm glad that you brought that up. Sherry says, but what about the bullet found by the bodies? It came from his gun. Yeah, it did. It did. Allegedly, it did. I don't know how I feel about that, other than if someone is going on the theory that he was set up, they needed an arrest, and they're like, okay, this guy fits the bill. He's already admitted to being there. Let's just pin it on this dude. You know what I mean? Because they were at his house. They went to his house. They got a warrant for his house to be searched, and that's the only evidence that they have is that bullet. That's it. And it wasn't even shot. He never even, whoever was there, never even used a firearm. So, Morgana says, I'm not so sure about the science behind that either. Yeah. It could have been one single person. That's all I know. It couldn't have been one single person. That's all I know. Sherry says, I totally agree. As far as whether it was one single person, I'm not sure. I don't know, because there was no DNA. It just blows me away. And there wasn't evidence on the ground of their, like, several different kinds of footprints or nothing like that. Even the theory that they were, because I was in the mind that they had been taken away from the area, killed, and then brought back and placed there. But even at that, there's no tracks, no drag marks, no like four-wheeler tire tracks, no nothing. So, but also, people say that there was not nearly enough blood evidence there, because both of the girls would have bled out, and there wasn't enough blood there at the scene. So, still wish they had let the public watch the trial. I think we will never know the truth. I agree with that. I agree. All right, we'll get back to it. Miss King says, what does it matter if there was an unspent bullet that was his? They weren't shot, right? Well, no, they weren't. But they're just saying, if it was his unspent bullet, that would, they're linking him being there, him being the one there because it was his bullet. But none of his DNA was there either. Mm-mm.
And something about there were a couple vehicles there when I left, so I had parked somewhere, either parked over on the bridge side or there used to be a little building there. I could have parked there. There was a trail until they got the whole thing done.
Okay. When you're talking about the bridge, just so I'm clear, you're talking about that big blue bridge, the Freedom Bridge or whatever that goes over the highway?
Well, that's the big blue bridge, but before that was there was a, if you were going out of town, you would take the road that I think is where the park is. It winds off this way, and there's a road. The first road you come, well, I don't know if It's the first road, but there's a road that takes off to the right, and there's houses, and then it just kind of turns into a lane, and there was a small bridge up there before, I mean, I think it's still there if you were,
Like the one, okay, so are you talking about the one-lane bridge kind of that goes over the creek?
it wasn't used. It wasn't a bridge that was used, I guess is what I'm saying. It was
Okay.
just, there was a parking area up there that you could park in.
Okay.
And that's where people use, that's where quite a few people would park before they, I mean, now there's a nice parking space, but before it was either you parked there or you parked over in the farmer's thing. And I mean, at one point they had it marked that they didn't want you parking there, so it, and I know it wasn't over there because I told them something about some cars that were there, so I would have been parked up on the bridge side of things, I guess is what I'm saying.
I guess it won't happen.
So this is kind of an overview of the area. So obviously this is the Blue Bridge here over the Houston Heartland Highway.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, yeah, can you mark on where you think you parked at? Good.
So now they're
Blue
showing
Bridge
him,
again.
Blue Bridge, here's the Houston Heartland.
now they're showing him just an aerial, like a overhead view of the area, like the whole area, with both bridges, because there's two bridges there. One I think is called the Freedom Bridge, and the other one is the Monon High Bridge, which is where the girls were at, was on the Monon High Bridge.
Highway. Here's Main Street. The road that comes out from downtown goes out onto Heartland. And here's the Andersons. I think that's going to be their fertilizer plant. And down there's the
So that's the Blue Bridge. I mean, it's right there. It would have been over in here somewhere probably.
Well, that's one of the parking areas. Okay, and then I used
Or it would have been, there was a old building somewhere over,
this map was taken back when the building was still there, and this is the building that was on the bridge, the trail side of the bridge.
okay.
So down at up
You
here.
went this way, I think you went down this way and
Mhm.
you, like
There was
went in an underpass or something?
Yep, that's right. And then there's a building right there. You can see it.
Okay. So it would either have been there or there.
Okay. All right. Very good. Which way do you think you would have traveled to get to this building that particular day, if you remember?
Just that way that loops around.
Okay.
I don't know the names of the roads or anything, I mean, I can show you where I drove, but it just, on the way, the road that goes out, it's basically the same way that you get to this one, except, no, it's further up, and you go down and it like comes down and goes around somewhere and comes over on the other side.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Was it ever an occasion where you might have gone to the park another way? Did you go out here very often, I should ask?
Not, like, I wouldn't say often. I mean, we go out, we may go once a month, we may go twice in 1 week. I mean, it was just kind of one of those where when we felt like walking the trail, we'd go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could say we visited it regularly.
Mm-hmm.
During the summer months, we didn't really go out there much. In the winter, we may have gone out a time or two, but.
Right, okay. So was it ever something, was there ever a time that you guys took another path to get out there besides going around this way, or do you remember anything like that?
I think there's a way if you go past where you park the farmer's entrance that I was telling you
I
about.
think it's down here. There's an entrance across from a residence that's a farmhouse.
Hmm.
Does that make any sense?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know that there's a way that winds around, and you can eventually get back to 200 or whatever road it is we're off of, 200 North, I think it is. It comes out somewhere down there, but we only did that. I think we found that by accident one time. We thought we'd go that way and try to get back, and it was we eventually came out that way somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But no, I wouldn't. If we were going to go there, we would go down through town and.
Okay. Good to know. All right. So let's talk more about what you remember doing that day, remember seeing that day.
Okay.
you gave an account to
Sure.
the officer who talked to you. And do you remember how that was prompted, how that happened, that you happened to talk to the officer?
I don't remember if it was the next day or a couple days, but shortly after they were asking for anybody that was there to come in. So I went down. I got home from work and my wife said, they want to talk, because I had obviously told her that I was there. And she said they want to talk to anybody that was down there, may have any information. I don't have much, but I obviously will go down. So we went down to the sheriff's station, and I don't remember who it was, came out and talked to me and said that he would get my name and information. And then I was driving downtown for something, and I know that, I remember he called me when I was in the car, because I pulled over and talked to him. It was a DNR officer, and he asked me if I could come down and talk there, or if I want to meet somewhere. And I don't remember how or why. I think they were really busy, obviously, crowded probably. So I was heading down to, it was the Save-A-Lot parking lot down there, and I told him I would just meet him there if that was okay. So he came down, we talked. He looked at my phone, took my phone information, and I think he got some, we took the battery out and everything, and he got information off of us. So that's pretty much it. And I gave him the account. Forgive me, it's been years, and I thought about it a lot. As time goes on, it's, like I said, I think I was there probably around noon. It could have been a little before noon or a little after noon. Walked down, back an hour, so probably 1:30, 1:45, depending on exactly what time it was that I got there that day. I just remember walking down the trail, and I had told him that when I was approaching the trailhead, I guess is what I'd call it, there was 3 girls walking off the trail, and I just remember it looking like one of them was probably watching, not babysitting, but watching the other two, because they looked a little younger. And they looked very similar. I don't know if they were sisters or whatever, but the other one didn't necessarily. But I remember seeing them walking off the trailhead, and I didn't really see anybody. I walked down, like I said, I looked at the water, I walked back, and I sat, somebody could have walked behind me, I guess, but I sat on that bench that overlooks the creek bed and all that. And I remember telling him, when I left, I remember there being, I think there was 2 vehicles down there on that farmer's entrance that I told you about. And that's why I know I didn't park there, because obviously I wouldn't recall seeing cars there if I parked there.
The farmer's interest, are we still talking about this area here, or is there some other location here?
There's a pull-in, like right next to the trail, is all I can tell you. There's a pull-in right next to the trail, and a trail actually leads up to the trail.
Yeah, it's hard to see from here, but I think this is what's called the old Mears.
Probably. There was a farmhouse across from it, is all I knew.
Right.
And it was like I guess it looked like where you take farm equipment in and out or something, but I know at one point they flagged it that it said no parking, so we didn't park there for a period of time, but.
Did you ever park there before when you went?
Yeah.
A lot of times you did? Okay.
We used to, when it wasn't marked. We did a cleanup down there one time I brought a bunch of Walmart people.
Okay, you guys, get your listening ears on. This is the point where I said I was going to stop somewhere between 25 and 30 minutes. Okay, I want you to get your listening ears on. Okay, in one of these interrogation videos that I watched, because I watched this one and then I watched, some of the others. There was someone, and I'm just giving full credit here, although I don't know who the person was in the comment section, but a commenter on one of the interrogation videos had said, at such and such time, you hear Richard Allen say down the hill. Okay? And my ears went, boop, perked up. right? Instantaneously. So I re-listened to it. And then what I ended up doing was clipping that part of the video. And then I took a clip of the original bridge guy's down the hill voice and put them side by side. And I'm going to let you hear it here in the interview first. And then I will stop and play the little comparison video that I made. Okay. And we'll play it in real time. And then I want to also play it slowed down. So I'm going to see what you guys think. I want to see what you guys think. But get your listening ears on. Whenever I point my finger up, that's when he's going to say the words down the hill here in this interview. Okay. Okay. Here we go.
Kind of a community engagement thing. And we did a cleanup down there. It's the year that they tore down. We tore down that, if you go down, not the high
Not
bridge
there.
way, but that one where I sit on the bench.
Yeah.
That I was telling you about. If you go down that hill, there used to be a little shed,
there.
a little shack down there, and they
Right there. He said down the hill. Listen again. Listen again. Listen again.
There's the year that they tore down. We tore down that, if you go down, not the high bridge way, but that one where I sit on the bench.
Yeah.
That I was telling you about. If you go down that hill, there used to be a little shed, a little shack down there, and they tore that.
Okay.
And we were there that day that we tore that down.
All right. So, okay, Margaret, no worries, honey. No worries. All right. Now, let me run over here real quick and find the video, okay? This is a normal time, and I'm going to play it, and I'm going to put it on loop. The loop is only 5 seconds, or the video is only like 4 or 5 seconds long, and I'm going to put it on loop and let it play over and over and over a few times, okay? Like 4 or 5 times, maybe more. And then we'll go listen to it in slower, and I'll slow it down a little bit and listen to it again. All right, here we go.
If you go down that hill, 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 if you go down that hill.
Okay. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is share this. This was a video that I did a couple days ago. At the very end of the trial day, I gave you guys a little bit of a preview of this video. And I'm going to play it in real time, and then I'm going to slow it down, okay? So there's 2 of me on the screen. That's too much me. That's too much of me. Too much of me. All right. Loop. And you guys let me know what you think.
If you go down that hill, if you go down that hill, if you go down that hill, if you go down that hill.
Okay, now I'm going to slow it down. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Sandra says, I'm new here. It is him. You think so? A lot of people do. A lot of people don't. And I'm I'm trying. I'm trying real hard. Gail says, I hear a difference. Richard says down the hill, and the other one says the hill. Some people say that too, Chaloon. I would love to see actual, like, confirmation proof of that. Like, for real, for real. I mean, I know people have done, like, um, like height comparisons based on the girls where they were at, and then when the picture is of them and him and stuff, you know. I don't know. Chaloon says, and that recording is so long ago, the quality is hard to use for this. It is. It absolutely is. Morgana says, I don't think there's enough of a sample to say for sure. I agree. The only thing that I notice is that they both, when they say hill, it's like down the hill, like the hill part goes up. You know what I'm saying? Like down the hill instead of like down the hill. They both say hill, like the hill goes up. Their voice goes up when they say hill. That's the only thing I've really noticed. But again, can I convict a man of a double homicide on that? No. But okay. Now I'm going to put this in slow motion. Let me back it up. And I'm going to put it on 0.75. Okay, here we go. Says it twice. Richard Allen in. So it's very.
If you go down that hill, if you go down that hill, if you go down that hill.
Should I slow it even more, do you think? Yeah, Chaloon, I don't know if he knew that he was being recorded. Because I think that Libby was being really sort of vague about that, you know? Thank God she was. Because I really don't think the guy would have known. Otherwise, he would have made sure he grabbed the phone if he knew that he was being recorded. Very smart girl. Very smart. Let me see. I'm going to slow it down to, let me go back. And then I'm going to put it on 0.5. This is probably going to sound really weird, but here we go.
If you go down that hill, if you go down that hill,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But that was the comparison that I have. It's so hard to tell. It's like I said, I couldn't convict someone on that alone, obviously, you know. But to me, they sound similar enough that if I didn't know any better, I would say it was the same person saying it. You know, if some random person were to come up to me and say, does this person and this person saying this phrase sound like the same person? To me, it does. But also, that they sound too close to me. Now, I'm not saying that the bridge guy is Richard Allen. I'm not saying that it is. Because when you look at everything else in comparison to just that, you know, I can't go off of that. There's just too much other stuff in my mind that tells me the rest of this interrogation and then the next interrogation really kind of make me think that he's telling the truth because he's adamant. Usually people will, you know, sort of hem-haw around or be vague in their answers. And he's very much like, that is not my bullet. That is not mine. That is not me. That is not me on that bridge. If you're telling me that this man that is standing on the bridge is this far down the bridge, then I'm telling you that's not me. I mean, that's pretty much how he acts. Then when you start talking about the confessions that he made in the jail calls, then I'm like all confused again, you know? Yeah, I believe that he very possibly was coerced into confessions, but am I 100% sure? No. No. So,
If
ooh, sorry, I didn't mean to hit that one again. Let me go back to the other one where we were first watching. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to rewind it a little bit more just to get back to the where we were at. Okay, here we go.
he's up to the trail.
Yeah, it's hard to see from here, but I think this is what's called the old Mears.
Probably. There was a farmhouse across from it is all I knew.
Right.
And it was like I guess it looked like where you take farm equipment in and out or something, but I know at one point they flagged it that it said no parking, so we didn't park there for a period of time, but.
Did you ever park there before when you went?
Yeah.
A lot of times you did? Okay.
I mean, we used to when it wasn't marked.
Mm-hmm.
We did a cleanup down there one time I brought a bunch of Walmart people, kind of a community engagement thing, and we did a cleanup down there. It's the year that they tore down, we tore down that, if you go down, not the High Bridge way, but that one where I sit on the bench.
Yeah.
That I was telling you about. If you go down that hill, there used to be a little shed, a little shack down there, and they tore that, and we were there that day that we tore that down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you guys did that with Walmart. Was that a local Walmart you worked at?
Lafayette.
Lafayette,
Yeah.
okay. One on Commerce or the one on
Commerce.
Okay, all right. So, you guys came up and did that. Do you know when that was?
Oh, Lord, no. Well,
Was it before or after this?
2006, it would have been,
Way before.
I wasn't even with, it was what, 17?
Yep. When the girls were out there.
13, so I wasn't even with Walmart at the time. I would have already been with CVS, yeah.
Okay, so sometime in the,
Yeah, it would have been way before. I mean, I went to CVS in, what did I say, 13, so it would have had to been before 13.
okay. So you were out there then working on the trails?
I'm going to say a lot earlier than that because I worked in Chicago, south of Chicago, for a couple of my last years with Walmart when I was actually running that store. So probably around 9, 10 maybe.
Okay. All right, somewhere around there. So you were working out there in trails. Have you been familiar with the trails before then? Was there a time that you had been out trails before that?
We had walked, after we moved to Delphi, we started experimenting. There were trails that we didn't know were there, but, you hear about one and you'd go, and I'm sure by that point, well, obviously I know by that point I knew about them because that's how we had, I don't know how I got associated with the Dan something or other that runs the Erie, I think it was Dan, run like the Erie Canal thing, and McCain.
Yeah, okay.
I don't remember how I became acquainted with him, but I asked him, because at Walmart, you know, as a leader, they always want you to be involved in the community, and I mean, it's a good thing,
Sure.
but you can also give money to, like, so, because we brought so many people out for that event for a day, we had so many hours, and we were able to donate money because of that from Walmart to the Erie Canal Foundation or whatever. So we worked, I guess the question is, yeah, I had been on the trails before that day. And we also worked out at the Carrollton Bridge that day. There's a tow path or something. We picked up some stuff along there too.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense. All right, well, that's good.
So, yeah, I sat there for a few minutes and left, and like I said, there were a couple vehicles. I may have told him the exact makes, I'm not sure. I just remember one was like a sedan, and I think maybe one was an SUV, I'm not sure. I have to look back at what I said that when I interviewed with him.
And that was at the, you call it Farmer's Entrance, those cars were at the Farmer's Entrance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about where you parked? Were there any other vehicles?
I know there were no vehicles where I parked because I don't remember telling him. I mean, if he asked, I didn't see anything there that day.
Okay.
A lot of people would park at that farmer's entrance because I'm thinking that was probably when they didn't really want you parking there, and that's probably why I didn't park there, but it's much closer to the trails. So a lot of people like to park there. You walk in and you're actually like halfway through the trail, so you can walk one way and the other and leave. But I know at one point, like I said, they didn't want you parking there, so we didn't.
So back then, if you told, he said his report said the old Farm Bureau building, so would that be?
I never really knew what that building was. I just remember telling him there was a building there. And if that's where I told him I parked, then that's probably where I parked. Because we, like I said, we would either park, obviously the farmer's entrance was always the most convenient, but there was a bridge, a small bridge before the Blue Bridge. I probably, I don't even know if I got this right. This is Anderson's?
Yes.
So there was a little tiny, it used to be like a one-way bridge. It wasn't even a road anymore. Like, you could either go towards the Blue Bridge or you
drive under it too.
Yeah, I think you ride,
Now I follow.
it wasn't, that parking lot wasn't there on the other side, so you didn't, but yeah, you would, you went, like I said, you take this road that forks off, coming out of Delphi somewhere, and then you take a right, and it's just a little road, and there's some people that live along it, but then at the end of the road, it goes up to this, like I said, there's like a parking area where people used to park.
I think I know what you're talking
Yeah, I
about.
think you can't see it out here, but what you're describing
Probably.
is a road that leads up to this parking area that you're talking, it's out of the side of that side of it.
Sure, it's probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, how far out to the bridge did you go that day when you were out there? Do you remember?
How far what?
How far out onto the high bridge?
I have no idea how many feet it is. The way I always know is there's one of those platform things that stick off the side, and I usually, years past, like 9, 10, let's see, 6, 7, between 6 and 10 probably. I've actually been across the high bridge back when it was in a little bit better shape, but somewhere in there, 8, 9, 10, somewhere it started getting pretty rugged and stopped going across it. But for the most part, I didn't go past that one whatever the thing is that sticks out. I'd go out there and kind of look. Like I said, fisherman, I'd look and see if I see any fish or anything, and then I went back the other way.
Yeah, I think those were back in the day, if a train was coming and you were out there, that
Yeah.
if you could possibly at least get out of the train's way.
Exactly.
I don't think I would still want to be on it when a train came.
Exactly, yes. Yep. So yeah, that day, I don't remember what year it was, but it was well before 16, 17. I don't know, just decay.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
So if you were parked there, and correct me if I say anything.
The bridge?
Over here,
Okay.
at that building, I'm sorry. So if you're parked there, how did you get on the trail? Where did you walk?
At one point, you either walked down the road, but then at one point they had a trail there. Not a trail, I wouldn't even call it a trail. They had a gravel path that led to the new thing that they were doing. I call it the trailhead. When they started doing all that, there was a trail that would, I think it ran along the road, if I remember right, and then it just cut over to where the trailhead was at. You couldn't really park. I just remember where that path was at. You'd think you could park there, but it was no parking. So you had to walk. You either parked over here and just, it was actually closer if you went over here and you could just walk to the bridge that way. And then if you went this way, it was a little bit further because you walked along the road to
So you would normally walk along the road, or was there a path that went?
At one point, I think you walked along the road. Honestly, I don't even remember. Where's the trails here? That's why I said at some point, it was probably after they put that little pathway in that we even parked there. I don't think we ever even used that until they put that path there, and it was just because it was the only way to get to trailhead from that side. And like I said, at one point, they didn't want you parking down here at this farmer thing, so they had put in a gravel path in, and you would park there. So you either parked over there, or you parked there and walked down the gravel path, and the path cut over to where the trailhead thing is. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't know that we ever parked at that little building, whatever it was, until they laid that gravel path to it. And I think we thought that was a new, I guess, designated parking area, and that's when we parked there once in a while. We'd still park over here once in a while. It just depended on which. And like I said, there was times when we parked there on and off whenever they didn't have it posted. They didn't want you parking there. And we probably did a time or two when they did have it posted, but we didn't make a habit of it.
So that car that was in your garage, would that have been what you drove out there that day?
Let me think here. It would have either been that one or our gray Ford 500. We kind of switch vehicles back and forth. It's kind of because I've oftentimes worked further away from home, and when I was working in Peru, the car's what do I say? It's a 16. So prior to that, I'd had a little red Ford Focus, and our trucks we get our truck at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So on truck day, I'd be driving over to Peru at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And one day I was driving and I was tired. I mean, there's often times you'd be tired, but this day I was just so tired, like to the point I almost and should have just pulled over. But I made it over there, and I turned off. Didn't take the highway all the way up. I took the turn off that takes you into the back way to Peru, and made it all the way in town, and literally I fell asleep. And I woke up when my airbag went off. I veered off the road and hit a SUV parked on the side of the road. And literally that's when I woke up. Like I didn't even know. It took me several seconds, if not a minute, to get my bearings and even figure out what had happened. I still didn't know because when it hit the SUV, it
Well, that's terrifying.
threw it clear up over the sidewalk into somebody's front porch. Like I literally didn't brake at all. I was asleep, so I hit at full speed. So anyway, I get out and there's not even anything there. I'm like, what did I hit? And there was a person stopped on the other side of the road. Anyway, long story short, they called the police, blah, 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 and I had to get, that's when I bought that black car.
The black car being the 16?
The one in the garage.
Okay.
And so I got that car because I have to drive back and forth and want something that gets good gas mileage. So my point is I was driving the black car, and then when I transferred and came back to Delphi, I didn't need the gas mileage anymore, and it was a nicer car, so I gave it to my wife. And from that time until just earlier this year, I drove the gray car and she drove the black car. Now, if I was going somewhere out of town, a lot of times I would use the black car, depending on how far we're going. The gray car was dependable, but it's just one of those where the longer, I guess, more recently, I started driving, you know, if I was going to go to Lafayette or something for an appointment or whatever, I'd take the black car just because it's more dependable. And
Yeah, if she works at her.
but anyway,
Yeah.
and then during that time period, I drove the gray Ford 500, and she would drive the black car, had her old cat license plate and all that on it. And then when I got her van, the gray car pretty much had it, and it was either, I had that in a truck as well. I had a truck for, I don't know, 3-4 years. I bought it used, and we didn't drive it hardly ever, and it was one of those where get rid of them while they're still worth something, so we traded them both in, and I got the van that she drives now, and then I went back to driving black car, so I really like her.
If I remember right, you said you were gone to Miami County to see your
Yeah,
mom.
Mexico.
Mexico. Would you have planned to drive the black car because that was a trip out of town?
I wouldn't have planned, no. During that time, it was still,
Okay.
the gray car was still, it's not like it was a junk car, we bought it brand new. It was a 2006, but I'd just say in the last, 3-4 years, it's not that the car didn't run well, it's just one of those where it's old enough that, you don't want to get over somewhere, especially because usually if I am driving it, it's because she's at work and I don't want to end up having to get stranded somewhere, but that was more recently, so. That's why I don't know which, it was either the gray or the black one that day. It could have been, it could have been the black one, could have been the gray one.
Makes sense. Okay.
It was an 06 Ford 500.
So then, you get on the trails and you said you saw 3 girls. Where was it you saw the 3 girls?
They were up around the trail. I mean, I didn't like interact with them. It was up around the trailhead somewhere.
So but you called trail.
Like when I say they were leaving, yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming they were leaving, or they came from down where those cars parked and they were going to go back that way. I don't know.
Okay. And then, did you see anybody else when you were out there? Anybody that stand out?
Anybody, nobody that stood out, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, if I did see somebody, it didn't click with me. And of course, my memory was a lot better when I talked to him that day. I don't remember seeing, like I told him, there may have been somebody on the bridge or something when I was coming back through, but I didn't. The only ones that I really noticed seeing were the 3 girls.
Okay.
Because I was walking towards them, and I mean, they obviously stood out. And like I said, I remember it looked like an older girl with 2 younger girls.
Okay.
Just walking the trail.
Okay.
And I guess I just assumed that she was probably watching them or in charge of them or whatever. It was kind of what it felt like.
Okay. If you thought you might have saw somebody when you were coming back through from the bridge, where they were on the bridge?
I don't really remember seeing anybody that day, but I don't know. So if I did see somebody else, they didn't jump out to me or anything else. I don't, like I said, it could have been people down around the cars, but I don't remember. I just remember seeing a couple cars parked over there. Like I said, Dan and SUV or something like that.
Okay. And then when you got back to your car, was there any other cars when you got back to your car?
I don't think so. Well, no, because I would have thought through that now.
Okay.
It would have just been mine.
Do you know where you went afterwards when you left there?
Well, that day, I always watched the stock market and trading stocks a little
That was
bit.
something else that I remember the officer recorded, something about the stock market. Tell us about that.
I just had a individual trading account with it was Daytech originally, and I think it was TD Ameritrade. I trade stocks, try to get rich, lose money.
Did that work for you?
On and off it did actually, but no, it worked really terribly there for a while, and I don't even do it anymore. So
Okay.
it's just too much of a risk.
So did you have a phone or a watch or something you were looking at the stock market on, or?
I think so. I had a program on my phone to watch stocks. I don't remember exactly
So you didn't keep it
when and how long I had it, but yeah, I had a program that I could, depending on the reception you had, of course. If you didn't have any reception, it wouldn't work. And
Was it fairly good out there that day?
And that's honestly, I think that's why I went home as quick as I did, because I wanted to get home and watch it on my computer with my stock tickers and all that stuff. So, because I remember what I remember doing that. That was like a hobby, I guess, for me, was watching the stock market and looking at charts and trying to predict what something's going to do and make money off of it.
Yeah, that's way out of my league.
Well, it was mine too. I just didn't realize it at the time. But
What were you wearing that day? I mean, you said you put on a jacket. you put on a jacket and...
Blue jeans, and I'm sure I put on a jacket, because I think it was still fairly cool that day. I don't think it was super warm. I would have put on a jacket, I don't know.
Remember what kind of jacket you
Probably
had back
jeans.
then? I mean,
I've had
Thank you,
Carhartt
Miss
jackets over the
Jean.
years.
Thank you, thank you.
It, um,
colors of your jacket.
the one was blue, the one was black. Probably back then it would have been a black one. Had a hood built into it. So it was just a black zip up. Anyway, I don't even think it was a Carhartt. I think it was an off-brand, but it was like a Carhartt. I could have worn that. I've had sweatshirts like what I threw on today. Hoodies, jackets. I mean, I've got a little bit of everything. Fleece.
Anything else you maybe headgear or anything like that? Wasn't that warm that day, but wasn't that cold either.
Always kept a hat in my coat, so it would have been like a, I don't know what do you call them, skull cap, or just not a big fluffy hat, but a small hat.
So, So cap on your head, and anything else you've been wearing besides like what kind of shoes? I mean, not pretty strange to ask a question like that. But what was, at the time I probably tell you what kind of tennis shoes I had because I usually make them last a very long time.
Well, and I've got shoes that I've had for 10, 12 years probably. It would have been older tennis shoes, or I had military boots that I used to wear, but they just don't fit. I've been out of the military forever, so I had some combat boots in my closet that I used to wear occasionally. I don't know if I was still wearing them then or not. I mean, I haven't worn them in years, but could have had a pair of work boots. I don't know. So probably older tennis shoes, but if it was wet out, sometimes I'd wear a boot, like a work boot, or like I said, the combat boots, because they held water out pretty well.
Okay, great.
And I may have told him that day what I was wearing, I don't remember.
Do you know what kind of phone you had back then? And you still have that phone, do you?
If I do, it's in a closet somewhere. I'm sure recycled it by now.
Oh, really?
Because I've had this for... When did my other one die? Bill, tell me. Come on. Trying to go where I just went to look at. I don't know, it's been a few years now. Several years, not. Device. Google. It wasn't, I know that since that time, I know I've gotten this phone. I don't remember when. It's not been a super long time, but it wasn't. I've had it long enough that I don't remember when I got it.
Do you have that picture of that car or no?
I don't think I do. Picture of the car on the...
I don't know that I'd be able to remember that either, Sheree, though, to be honest. I mean, I think it would be easier for me personally to remember things that happened, but I don't know that I would be able to remember what I had on that day. other than saying something like it would have been a t-shirt, and because I wear the same thing all the time, right? I wouldn't have been able to specify what color the shirt was. I would have probably just said, I'm sure, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure I probably would have been wearing a pair of leggings and a t-shirt and a hoodie and a pair of tennis shoes or sandals or flip-flops. I mean, I don't know. But I will say most men kind of wear the same things. Like, I've heard people say before, in that area, most men would have been walking around during the day in a Carhartt jacket or a Carhartt-ish jacket, blue jeans, and a pair of boots with a cap. That's like common for most men, you know? No way I would remember. That's a long time. Jeans and a t-shirt. Yeah. I mean, if you wear the same thing all the time, but I wouldn't have been able to specify, oh, for sure this day I had on this black top with flowers on it and a pair of leggings, black leggings and black sandals. I wouldn't have been able to have said that. You know?
Really? Yeah, well, I don't. Likely. Either way. So, a couple things I wanted to ask you after I checked my phone. It's just like ringing like crazy. What we would like to do is to be able to confirm some of the information that you've given us so far, to be able to examine your phone. As you're well aware, phones go everywhere with everybody, and they tell a lot of story about a lot of what people do. And sometimes the information on our phone can confirm or, maybe not necessarily confirm information about what somebody is saying. We have the ability to be able to extract the data from a phone and be able to look at it and be able to tell where somebody was at.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay. Would that be something you would allow us to take care of, do today and get it done?
How long are you going to have my phone?
Well, we ideally would like to have a phone that you had. When you got that phone, did you take the data from the old phone and move it to the
I
new
have
phone?
no idea. I mean, I always try to save contacts.
Right.
So
if you had the phone, like, where'd you get the phone at? What service is it?
I go through Ting.
Okay.
It's an online service, and a lot of people don't know about it. It's really inexpensive, and I've had it for years now.
What's it called?
Huh?
What was it called?
Ting.
Ting, like T-I-N-G?
T-I-N-G.
Never heard of it.
It's online.
So you didn't really go to a store somewhere?
I used to,
Okay.
but I for years now we've been with Ting.
Uh-huh.
You pay full price for your phone, and they have discounted ones, and so usually you'll pay a couple $100 for a phone,
Mm-hmm.
or you can pay $600-700, whichever. But
So they own
as
the
far
phone.
as the service,
Right.
I mean, I only pay around $40 a month for 2 phones, and
Wow.
that's
And is
pretty
your-
much everything.
Your service provider, is that Ting themselves, or is it another?
I think right now it's probably Verizon. It's one of those deals they use. Of course, all of them do that anymore. They use each other's
The big
towers and
corporate
stuff.
towers and, yeah.
But I think it's like my phone. Some of it depends on what type of phone you have too. Mine is based off of. I'm pretty sure it's off of Verizon right now.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Do you remember what you had back then? 2017?
I know I didn't have this one yet. I don't even know if they were making those yet.
I mean, as far as service provider?
Well, I've had Ting. God, I've had Ting for several years now.
So they may,
I probably would have had Ting.
okay, they may have changed service providers on you. Ting may have used a different service provider.
I don't like, since I've had this phone, I've never had them come out and say, hey, we're changing your provider. It's just a, I guess kind of the home system that it works off of. Like I said, it's Verizon. I'm trying to think if it's ever been, you don't hear about AT&T anymore, but it could have been that at one point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I never had it before we lived in Delphi though, so I know, I'm pretty sure because I always got my phone, I work at Walmart, so I get my service plans through them because I got discounts through them. So I know it's been since I left Walmart, so.
Okay.
I mean, so I went through regular carriers prior, but I've been with Ting forever.
Well, so then what I would like to do, if it's okay with you, would be to have an opportunity to look at the phone and examine some of the data on it. Really would like to get to the phone that you had back then. If you think it's in a closet somewhere in the house, yeah.
Actually, I don't have, I mean, when my wife comes home, she'll know, if we have it, she'll know exactly where it's at.
Okay, all right. So if it's okay
I
with
thought
you,
she recycled them, but she may not.
we could start with this phone, we'd be able to extract the data from that, if that's okay with you. And I have a form that I read to folks before we get started on doing something like that, and it goes basically like this: you have the right to require that a search warrant be obtained before you search your property, you have the right to refuse consent to a warrantless search, you have the right to talk to a lawyer before giving consent to such a search. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one would be appointed for you. I've read the statement rights, I understand what rights are, I do not want a lawyer at this time. I consent to a warrantless search by the officers of the police department following described property, and it'll be your cell phone and whoever carrier, and authorize these officers to seize any item of data which they consider as evidence. I understand and know what I am doing. No promises or threats have been made to me, and no pressure or coercion of any kind has been used against me. And I would need to have the passcode. Is your phone open, or is it passcode?
I love that no pressure part, right?
There's a finger thing, and then there's a code override.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
Go ahead. Any questions? Yeah, we'll try to answer.
just, I don't know, it's sounding more like you're, like I'm not gonna be somebody's fall guy.
Here's what
I thought we were
Here we go.
talking,
I want to help you.
I thought you were trying to find
So
what I
everybody,
might have that'd be helpful, but
everyone,
that's absolutely what we're doing.
everyone we talk to, we're trying to eliminate them from any.
Here's where it starts getting a
suspicion of
little
being involved in this case.
sideways.
Sure. So
I get that.
What we want to try to do is get as much information together to be able to show, okay, we've looked and didn't find anything. So you understand what I'm saying?
Sure, I get that. I just, like I said, honestly, it amazes me that we're even talking. I mean, it's been so long, and I haven't thought about this much, and it's just like,
Dude, here's the thing. Whether you're innocent or guilty, either way, this is the point where you say, yeah, I'm not saying another word. I'm going to go get a lawyer. Y'all in the chat, please, if you're ever in a situation, do not speak without an attorney. Do not do it. Do not. Do not. Even if you're innocent, like QB says, especially if you're innocent, right? Yes. Yes. Let me put my double glasses on to tell you that. Get an attorney.
I don't want to be somebody's fall guy, and we're going to try to make pieces of a puzzle fit somewhere they don't fit so we can close this thing. I get, and I'm not saying you guys, please don't think I'm questioning your integrity. That's not what I'm saying. I just, okay. I mean, I guess that's where I'm at. It doesn't seem like a simple conversation we're having. It seems more like you think I might have done it, so.
I understand what you're saying. I completely get what you're saying and how I would feel from your point of view. Okay.
Yeah.
But from our situation, what we're trying to do is be able to show what all you were doing that day. Take a look at everything. Make sure that we can show that what you're saying is true. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that we can be able to say to someone else, whoever's prosecuting this case, look, we looked at Mr. Allen, and he's not our guy. And we looked at him because we looked at his phone. And I was going to ask you something else too, be able to look at your car, and also, with your permission, we'd like to look at your house. And so
Okay.
all these things are very, very important to us to be able to.
No, I get that. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna, I mean, if you get to a point where you think that I need further investigating and you wanna get a warrant, do it, that's fine, but I'm not gonna have somebody going through my house and everything.
Sure. I just want to be honest with you.
I just don't, I guess I'm starting to feel more like your main lead or something here, and I'm not gonna do that.
Well, we
I'm
just
not gonna-
started, did you understand that because we are so far into this,
Mhm.
that I'm sure you see the news, you see state police doing their thing, well,
For a great while, yeah.
we at Carroll County Sheriff's Department, and he's an investigator with prosecutor's office,
Sure.
we decided to pick through the very beginning of this again.
And I
And
understand
we're
that, I guess.
We're
yeah.
talking to everybody that was out there that day and trying to, and crossing T's, dotting I's. It's nothing more than
Sure.
that.
And I get that part of it.
So there's no fall guy, that's not.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not trying to question anybody's integrity. I just, like, I guess like I said, at the point that you think I might have actually done this, then if you want to get a warrant, search my house, my car, my orifices or whatever, that's fine. I mean, I don't mind you looking at my phone or whatever, but, like, yeah. I don't think, I guess my point is I don't think it,
We're just asking,
sure.
Right now,
I
I'm just asking.
I understand that.
so it is what it is, and we have to ask, so
Yeah, I'm not gonna have police out going through my house and stuff, that's just not
that's fine. That's fine.
news leaks and somebody here, I just don't need that kind
Well,
of,
we're trying to keep this very discreet because we do understand what you're talking about. It came out in a Buick, which is not normal like
I
a police
understand.
car. So, we're not interested in making your life difficult or anything like that. We're trying to get these
Understand.
things figured out.
Sure.
and get it taken care of. So,
sure,
with that, so you said you would let us look at the phone?
sure.
Okay, great. And you help us get to the other phone too?
I'll see if I can find it.
Okay, all right. So let me go back to that form, and we'll get this phone back to our team, which can do that. So I covered this with you. What kind of phone is it? Or you tell?
It's a Google something or other. It's a Google. Pixel, maybe?
Pixel, okay. It's a black phone, okay. And what is the passcode?
2045.
45, okay. All right, great. So I read this to you, so if you have any questions, do you have any questions about your rights about being able to do this? Or we just need your signature there to verify that you understood everything?
You know what? Let me talk to my wife before I do anything.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't want to do this, because I'm cool with it, but at the same time, I don't want her to get pissed off because I don't know.
It's okay.
We watch TV shows and stuff, and I just, like, I don't want to be associated with this thing, obviously, more than anybody else does. And am I an angel of a person? No. I mean, I'm like anybody else, and I guess I don't want you, maybe I don't want you looking at every website I visited. And
I can believe.
so,
How are you, Kayleen? Yeah, it was Valentine's Day. Yeah. Yeah. The next day was, I believe it was, uh, would have worn a big red shirt with a big flower on it. That's what I was wearing. Sanders says that was him on the bridge. He's guilty, no doubt about it. There are a lot of things I could say why I think he did it. I'd love to know why, I mean, same The only reason why I think that it could be, the only things that lead me to thinking that it could be him are that bullet, for one, but I'm not convinced of it. Also his confessions, but I'm not convinced again because those could have been coerced. Um, you know, but that's the only evidence that we have thus far. Pretty much anything else that has been theorized as to why he would have done it or, why he did it or how he did it is speculation, but that's what we all do is speculate on things that we think and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's good to see you, Kayleen. How are you feeling, honey? I hope you're feeling better day by day.
So I think, I'll talk to my wife, and if she's cool with it, then we'll do it.
Can I, I'm going to get something, I want to show you something just really quick, I'll be right back.
I'm used to crushing to recycle.
Sir, do you want to know?
No, I'm good.
One of these is fuller than the other, so. But no, we're trying to give you a hard time.
I understand.
Again, we're just trying to get these things taken care
And
of
I get
for
that.
a long time, so.
I get that, but, and I guess that's, not that I ever question anybody's integrity, but
That's fine.
it's just, I know that it's at a point where, you want closure. You want closure for a family, and I'm not, again, I'm not, I don't know you from Adam.
No, it's fine.
I just, but you also can't say it's never happened where pieces have been, we find a piece that's close to fitting and make it fit, and I just don't.
I just want you to see why we came to you. This is from the beginning.
Okay.
It's basically tip 74.
Okay.
That's
I
my
understand. I get you.
I don't want you to think that we're just randomly coming after you.
And you've been.
Oh, I don't think you're coming after me. It's not that.
You've been completely honest with this. You said, well, what the information you can see right there, this gentleman was on the trail between 13:30 and 15:30.
That's true. I don't think that.
What time that was.
I know I wasn't out there that late. I don't know what I told him that day, but I know I wasn't out there till 3:30 or so. Yeah, it's 3:30.
That would be right around 1:30 until 3:30.
No, I'm saying when I left. 1:30 would have been more of the time I would have left.
Okay.
Not gotten there. Because the only reason I remember is because I know I left around 11 o'clock or so because they were getting ready to go do lunch.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't going to do the lunch thing with everybody, so
And
I
you
just
told
went
us?
home and
Right.
was going to watch the stock market, thought it was a nice day, and I'd go take a walk on the trail before I did.
Yeah. So things we're asking you is nothing any different than we ask anybody else around there.
Yeah. And look at all the stuff you told us, and there's nothing inconsistent here. So.
I guess I was actually watching my stock, so it must have been working. You asked me about that. Vehicles parked at the High Bridge Trailhead. It wasn't, it was that farmer's pull-off is where I was seeing these
Different people call.
Sure, gotcha. And you have the information off my cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Yes, that's why I'd really like to have that cell phone in particular.
But again, that's why we're here.
Sure, and I get that.
We're trying to put, if there's any pieces you missed or anything that you can recollect.
Sure, and that's honestly, that's what I thought this was.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing else I can really think of, but as far as searching my house and my phones and like,
Well, let me say, I haven't even got to that yet. I just want to let you know, those things have been very helpful for us, okay? I'm not necessarily asking right
how
now.
have they been helpful?
Eliminating people.
What we do is, we can say for sure, okay.
Sure.
And we didn't find anything, okay? That's how we estimate the successfulness.
And I guess, I see that.
Yeah.
I guess when you say progress, it's like we're still where we were. And I'm not saying you haven't made progress.
No.
You obviously have. I'm just saying, like, we're here because we haven't found the guy that did this. And I'm not going to turn into that guy. I'm not going to, I don't want to become the target of something because, like I said, we watch a Dateline every week. We watch everything, and it's one of those, I mean, there's nothing that's going to tie me to it, and I'm not worried about that. To have people come and start searching my house and stuff, I mean, my wife doesn't even know I'm here talking to people, so, but, I mean, I can look for the phone, I'll talk to her, and, I mean, obviously, anytime that you feel that you need that information quicker, I know you can get it. It's not like you can't get it if you want it. I'm not an idiot.
What information would that be?
Searching my house, searching my
Oh,
phone,
okay.
searching my...
Well, and again, the reason I said search your house and your car would be to be able to say to someone, look, we did actually take care of this information. We know for sure, okay, what was there, what we found, and that gives us the answer we need for a particular situation that we're dealing with.
Sure.
Okay, it doesn't mean that we're trying to put anybody in a box, okay,
Sure.
anything like that. I know you brought up several times wanting to be able to resolve the case. No, what we want to do is be able to find the person who...
Absolutely. That's what I mean.
Not try to put anybody in that box that wasn't responsible for what happened. Okay?
I understand that.
So,
I'm not saying you just want to label somebody, but, you know, I had nothing to do with it. I haven't been a part of this investigation. I mean, I have with what I did, and now obviously you question me further, and that's fine, but
Sure.
it's a horrible thing, and I mean, I don't want to be any more involved in it than what I have to be.
Mm-hmm.
If I thought I had something that was useful, by all means, I'd give you anything I had. I just don't know what's going to be useful to you.
Sure, I understand. So that's one of the reasons why we asked for the phone, is to be able to nail down that aspect,
Sure.
Especially the phone that would have been involved in that situation, which would be the phone you gave the information on to the officer.
Sure.
And also, something that would be very important to look at would be your car, because when somebody does something that's involved in something like this,
Sure.
there might be traces of biological information and data or substances that were left behind inside the vehicle. So,
Sure, I
does that
mean-
make sense? So, would it be helpful for us to be able to look at your car to be able to determine if there be anything like that inside of it, forensically, okay? Forensically means that we'd have a close examination of the car.
I know that.
And then again, like everything else that we're telling you, then we can say, we looked at Rick, we looked at his car, there's nothing in his car. That's the point. That's the whole point of everything.
Yeah, this is out of left field, guys. I mean, I'm going to talk to my wife before I do anything. I mean, this affects her as much as it affects me. And I know you guys don't talk to people. I don't hear a bunch of rumors out there, but, I mean, I don't want anybody knowing that I talk to you guys.
Oh, I understand.
It's just
And-
not
and
something...
we don't do that.
Sure.
That's not something we want to do at all. So, we don't just go out and randomly talk to people about stuff like this.
Sure, I understand.
Okay. So, with the phone, you say you want to take some time, more time to think about it. Couple things that I wanted to ask you about. Would you mind, Sheriff, if we stepped out for a little bit and
Sure.
came back? Are we okay with you? I think we need just a few minutes right back.
Okay, now Now is when they let him kind of just sit and stew for a few minutes. Sanders says it seems he had a lot of secrets from his wife. Gail said, I can see how he would want to talk to his wife. Have you seen people's houses after the police have searched them? I think that if I were the one being questioned and they wanted to come to my house, I'd probably be like, I haven't even talked to my husband. My husband has no idea this is going on. You know what I mean? I don't know how long there's before they come back in. Oh, it's just a couple of minutes. We'll wait it out. Oh, absolutely, Gail. Yeah. Warrant, please. Thank you.
Hey, how you doing? So, what I want to do is kind of show you some of the stuff that we do have here.
Why it's important.
Why it's important we get your cooperation. One of the things that you told us was that you have driven out there in your car, and you think you've driven out there in your car. We have a picture of your car that shows it was going out to the trails that day, okay? And now, one of the important things for us is to help understand exactly where you were at that day, what was going on. You've already told us that you were out there. That's really, really important.
Sure.
For you, okay?
Obviously.
So with that, what I wanted to do is try to help you work through this whole thing. I'm going to be completely honest with you. We've been able to talk to your wife.
Sure.
Talk to your daughter already. Well, this is
Okay.
all happening. We had time to do all that.
Sure.
And we've heard that you had some issues, even at one point put a gun in your mouth that you were going to do something to yourself, maybe
Sure.
3 years or so.
Yes.
And, you know, look, there's a lot here that we need to get clarified, okay? As you well know, we have pictures of an individual that was on the bridge. And to some great degree, you described that individual as wearing yourself is wearing blue jeans, a jacket that's of the same color as that. It described a hat. It's hard to see the shoes, but they're kind of brown. Okay? And this is a picture that was taken with the phone of one of the girls.
Okay, I understand that.
And the question needs to be, is that you?
If it was taken with the girl's phone, that is absolutely, I mean, it's not me, but I never have met these girls before, so even if I thought it looked like me, if it was taken with the girl's phone, there's no way it could be. I've never met them. I've never seen them.
All right, so that's
And
where
as
we're
far,
at.
well, and let's just stop there. As far as my psychological well-being,
Okay.
it has been, I've been dealing with that for years. It's not something new. It's not something because I went out and killed girls. Now I've got psychological problems. Have I had issues? Did I stick a gun in? I know how a gun works, and I wasn't going to shoot myself that night. It was probably a cry for help that night. You've obviously talked to my wife, so it is what it is. But I know that you haven't talked to anybody that knows me, has been around me, my family, not my family, that thinks that I may have been involved in this. I wouldn't believe it.
But this image, this person right here, he's wearing like a Carhartt jacket, just like you just told us.
Okay.
He's wearing the same clothing that you just told us. We just need to know what happened. Why?
Sure. I mean, I said I was wearing blue jeans. Now, I think blue jeans is a pretty common thing that people wear.
Sure.
And I said I was probably wearing a black or a blue coat. It could have been a Carhartt, a zip-up with a hoodie in it. I've had black ones. I've had a blue one, or a blue one and a black one. Like, I guess, you know, you're taking what I told you I was wearing and saying that that's me, and it,
So the other kind of,
and you're serious. You literally want me to, like, that is you want me to say that that's my car?
We looked at
well, no, it matches everything. That is your car.
Okay, well, I'm saying that picture, it's like, okay,
Yeah, no, there's zero doubt that
okay.
that's you.
I don't even, okay, that's
We're
fine.
just showing you what we have and why we need to eliminate you.
Well, sure,
That's the point.
sure. All right, well, we're all done here.
Well, here's what
Unless you want to arrest me, that's fine.
here's what I want to say to you at this point. You know, look, we have a lot of information here that we need clarification.
Sure.
And that's exactly why we're talking to you at this time.
Well, and that's fine.
So what we want to do is to be able to
Okay.
take a look at your cell phone, take a look at all the data, help us out. That would be great. Or, you know, conversely, in this situation, we've already talked to your employer, and we already know that and we haven't told them what we know about this. We haven't said anything about
Sure.
that. But they say you're a nice guy. And I believe you're a nice guy.
Oh, okay.
Look, you know, I have no reason.
Yeah, I mean, that-
let me paint a picture for you. We went to your house.
No, you've got a job to do, and I get
We
that.
went to your house.
You sit down here,
We went to your house this
we're
morning.
having a conversation, and
We went to your house this morning, and what we did was knocked on the door. You let us inside. We had a nice conversation, and that's great. That's really positive.
Of course it is.
You came here to the center and drove down. You rode in the car with us.
yeah.
And we had a chance to sit down and talk. You're not a fellow who is, I think, a mean fellow. You know, you're not the kind of guy that would go out and do something malicious to somebody. So a lot of what we're trying to get figured out here today, right now,
Sure.
is exactly what's going on here. Why is this information showing us one thing, but then you're telling us another?
What is it showing you? What
This information
I'm going to say
shows
that
us-
is, just say that is my car. I told you I could have been driving that car.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know what it is but this seems to have taken a turn, you know? You're sitting here and you're
Well,
talking to me,
because
and you ask me things, and I get that.
Most people.
But now it's turning into...
Most people have wanted to be eliminated from this.
Well, sure.
That's
I don't want to be included to begin with. So until the point that you have something that tells you that I did this and you want to subpoena or arrest me or something, I've got nothing to worry about. So I'm not real concerned here, but your attitudes towards me have definitely changed, and I don't like the fact that, you know, it feels more like I'm being interrogated, and so then you're going to tell me that you've already talked to my wife and my daughter and stuff. Like, how straightforward is that? You know?
Well, what would you, okay, let's turn everything around. Tell me what you would do differently if you were in our situation. You had this information. How would you react? What would you do? You do the same thing that we were doing right now.
What information is it that you have? You have that I was out there, and I told you from the very beginning that I was out there.
Yes, you did.
I didn't hide it.
Did you see this guy?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I told you, I see the only person that I clearly remember seeing that, and this isn't from the day, I mean, this is the next day. The only people or person that came into my mind were those 3 girls that I seen.
Richard, we're not upset with you, not mad at you, anything like that. We're just
Sure.
trying to get to the bottom of this, okay? No, I'm not, I'm not here to give you a hard time. I'm just here to try to get this situation straightened out.
Mm-hmm.
And what we want to do is simply get to the truth. What would help us get to the truth is being able to look inside of some of the things you're talking about, okay?
And I get that.
Okay? And maybe
And on the other side of
what
things,
happened here.
Sure. And on the other side of things, if I thought I had something that was going to help you, that would, what do I have that's going to help you?
Okay. Well, I have some questions we can go through here, if you don't mind. And
I think we're done.
we have some other questions here that we could go through here. And what I could do,
Want to hear questions? What does that hurt?
some of the questions that we can ask you are simply this. And I don't want you to feel like these questions all sound strange, and it'd be very, maybe even accusing in nature, but I want you to understand I'm not trying to offend you. But they help us out. They help us out by getting to a little bit farther along in this matter.
So, I don't know. Like I said, you went, you talked to my daughter and my wife.
What do you want?
I can't tell you what happened. I can tell you that if that picture was...
I don't know
mean,
what
you
that
can-
was.
you can-
I don't know why it did that.
You can sit and take anybody and say, well, if they were wearing this and wearing that, that could be done. If that picture was taken from one of the girls' phones,
Here's the
it's not
problem
me
with that.
because I've never met
I
them.
know, but listen, here's the problem with that. You know why you can put a lot of people and say they're wearing blue jeans and a blue coat, but you know what the difference is?
No.
You said you were there.
Well, sure I
We
did.
have people that saw you.
Okay.
Ricky said you were out on the bridge yourself.
There aren't that many people that saw me. I mean, I'm sure I didn't miss that many people. If they walked behind me, I guess.
You said that you were out on the bridge, this bridge, yourself that day around the time when this happened.
No, I didn't.
You said you walked out onto the bridge. When we talked to you earlier, you said that you walked out to about the first platform or within that area down the bridge. That's what you told us. So we know that you were on the bridge.
Of course I was.
Okay?
I mean, I told you that.
And with that, we can say that, is this person you? That's the question. Is that person you? That's the question we have to answer.
Sure.
Okay? So if that person is you, we know this person followed the girls all the way to the other side of the bridge and then told them to go down the hill.
Followed. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like you're saying, go.
Okay, so the bridge here, okay, this is the girls walking towards the other side of the bridge from where the trailhead is at.
The other side.
The other side of the bridge. And this person followed them all the way to the other side of the bridge where the...
Yeah. So let's just...
and told them to go down the hill.
Okay, so let me stop here. I don't appreciate you trying to talk me into this.
No.
This is what I said. You're trying to change my words around. I told you I was on the bridge. Now you just told me this is the trailhead side of the bridge.
Over here on this
And
side.
you're saying I told you I walked on the bridge.
You said you walked on that bridge that day.
And that first trestle is somewhere,
Back there? Okay.
it's somewhere over there.
Help me understand. Okay, you came out this far. We know that
I did.
You
I
came
didn't go out that far that day.
You came out that far, is what you told us.
I'm not going to tell you how, I can't tell by that how far out I was.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, you're saying that's me, and you're saying this is the far side of the bridge. I don't even go out that far anymore. I haven't for years.
Okay, for years. But back then, that was in 2017. okay? And the question is this you?
No.
Okay. So you're telling me that this person was out there on the bridge and wore the same clothing that you had
Oh,
on that
Jesus.
day, but you didn't see
You
them?
can't tell that's a black Carhartt coat, a blue Carhartt coat, a pullover. I told you I could have been wearing this.
The
You-
two,
that-
the two kinds of clothing you said you wore that day was either a black Carhartt coat or a blue Carhartt coat. Okay, you said you had
Probably.
blue jeans, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've had other jackets.
Okay, so put yourself in my chair. right
I
now.
guess what I'm saying is I'm not going to tell you I wasn't wearing a black Carhartt that day. I told you I could have been. I don't know if that's a black Carhartt. And if it is, it's not mine, it's his.
And you said you had a hat. You normally wear a skull cap, which covers.
I said I carry one.
Carry
So
one.
if I was wearing one, it would be like a skull cap or a smaller type of hat or something.
Okay? So this is the situation we're at, okay? Basically this. Either you were out there to do this to the girls, or you were out there to be able to introduce the girls to somebody else.
Okay. Good luck finding anything that points in that direction. I mean, it's not me. You're not going to make me believe it's me. You're not going to find anything that ties me to those murders. So I'm not really that concerned. You know, you went from trying to, I don't know what you want to say, get my trust and then slowly lure me into telling you I killed somebody and I'm not going to do it. You know, I don't know where this changed course.
I'm not trying to give you a hard time, really not. I just want you to put yourself in the situation where we as police officers are looking at all the evidence that we have and what you've told us right now, okay?
Mhm.
Okay, not trying to give you a hard time, just want to make sure that we get everything taken care of here. That's why we wanted to look at the things that we wanted to look at.
And that's not going to happen now. I mean, like I said, we're done here. So arrest me or take me home.
I understand. So
Arrest me or take me home. I'm done.
these,
This is stupid.
okay. So that day, that's your phone. So on that day, you went out there on the bridge, and that you were wearing the same clothing that basically the same clothing that this person here is wearing.
That's what you think. I don't know how you can tell that that's a black Carhartt coat, which is what I told you, a black or blue Carhartt coat. Never mind. This is ridiculous. You're trying to tell me that I gave you a description of this guy and I didn't. I mean, we all looked at this thing for months and years, and to me that doesn't even look like a Carhartt coat.
Well, you can't say it's not, can you? I mean, neither one of us can.
Okay, you're right.
Can't say it's
You're
not.
right.
I mean, we can't say that it's not a Carhartt coat. We can't say that that hat isn't similar to the one that you had at one point. So,
Okay.
with all those things in view,
You've lost my trust. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. This is stupid. Now you pissed me off.
well, I'm sorry about that.
Okay,
And I
so
have,
let's get, are you arresting me?
well, I really want to try to get
Are
this
you
thing worked out,
arresting me?
okay? I want to try to get this thing worked out.
Am I free to leave or not?
You've always been free to leave.
Thank you. You're an asshole.
I love how he ended that. You're an a-hole.
We could do.
Well, that's pretty much it for interview number 1. There is another interrogation. Hold on a second.
He's wearing the same clothes
Okay, hold on, folks. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah. So there is another one. The second interview is an hour and 35 minutes long. So I don't really want to go over that one tonight. Only because it's already 9:15. So, but hey, Nicole, good to see you. Hello, Margaret. Margaret's getting her pajamas on. She's like, it's 6 o'clock in California. Can I put my pajamas on? Of course you can. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Let me go see what the poll did. What y'all did in the poll. Anyone know where we can get Lori's enchiladas recipe? I love that. That cracked me up. I had to go back and watch that because I missed that little enchilada part yesterday. She's like, the only thing that I make every time we have a family get together for the last 10 years or something like that. 8 to 10 times a year. God, she kills me. She wears me out. All right. Let me end the poll. Let's see what you guys say. Let's take a look. All right. So the question was, do you believe Richard Allen is guilty? 50% of you said yes, and 25% of you said no, and 25% of you said not sure. Yeah. I waver back and forth. I just feel like there's a lot more that says that he's not than evidence that says he is. So, and I would also really like to know what the jurors think after trial's over. You know, the first thing they did was hop online to see what all they could find, right? And when they came across the Odin stuff, I wonder if their mouths didn't drop and they're like, oh my God, what have we done? You know what I mean? That's what bothers me. That's what bothers me. So, but you guys, short and sweet on a Friday night. It is 9:15, and I have other places on the interwebs to be. So I'm going to go to those other places on the interwebs, and I will see you guys back for trial on Monday. I would love to do the rest of the Delphi stuff over the weekend. Are you guys up for a weekend stream? I don't know what time it'll be or which day, but I would love to do another Delphi stream and do the other interrogation, and then also the jail phone calls between Richard Allen and his mom and Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy. So, and of course, I would love to have, some of you guys come up, some of my folks that like to come up and chit chat on the panel. I'd love for you guys to come up, maybe Morgana, Margaret, you know. But I'm going to go ahead and scooch. So I will make sure to, whichever day I do the stream on, whether it's tomorrow or Sunday, I will schedule it early so that you have, plenty of time to, so that you'll know plenty of time in advance. Okay. You'll be there. All right, Margaret. You're interested too, Nicole? Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. All right, you guys have a great Friday night. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out a little bit, spending some of your Friday night with moi. I appreciate it. I love you guys. Big ol' mucho. Make sure to hit the thumbs up before you leave. Share us with your friends, please. Hit that little share button and send the link to the video to some of your friends that are into true crime. Let them know we're a fun bunch over here. And also, subscribe if you're new. Click that notification bell and put a hashtag replay down in the comments below if you're watching this on the replay. All right. You guys have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you sometime over the weekend for more Delphi. All right. Love y'all. Bye.